Why in heavens and on earth to create human beings? If you have something that's working perfectly, like angels, why would you create something that obviously you looked around, human beings are not all angels? Why to do something like that? Why to give a choice whether to follow the Dharma, to follow the Tao, to follow the godly will or not? Well, the reason is that if a human being will learn to do the will of God, to do that coherent move of the muscle and not to be a muscle spasm, and will learn to do that all the time, having always the choice to go wrong and nevertheless going right and doing the will of God, he will become a different kind of angel, a kind of super angel. So, in the last lecture, we mentioned that doing the will of God is like coherent muscle movements, and not doing the will of God is like muscle spasms. Yeah? And maybe before that, when we speak about the will of God, we take the Christian, the monotheistic term, doing the will of God, and we are trying to refer to it in a more global, vast way. So it's not just doing the will of God, it is also the Buddhist Dharma, the Hindu Dharma, the Karma Yoga that Krishna describes in the Gita, and the way of the Tao in Taoism. Now, these terms are by no means identical, but they point out, all of them, the integrated action, doing that which is integrated in the universe, integrated in the whole, with the concept of the whole, rather than following our own desires and ambitions. Yeah, this is the thing. We let go of the selfishness and we contemplate, we act with the vision of the whole. So, this is the larger context. We will use mostly the will of God and Dharma, but we try to see in all these traditions and also somehow beyond to this one unifying factor, which is the source of the will of God in the West and the source of Dharma, of Tao, of Karma Yoga in the East. So try to feel the heart of that. Back to the muscles. So our muscles, they can move coherently to make our lungs breathe. They can move coherently so that we write something on our computer, so that we do some physical work, so that we embrace, we love physically. All these things are coherent muscle movements. The muscle is doing what it needs to do for the body for a higher purpose. That is, for our analogy, doing the will of God. When the muscles are just having spasms, yeah, if there is some kind of disease, that is not doing the will of God. It's just muscles moving because they can move without the awareness of the whole, without the awareness that the muscle is a part of a body, and the body has a purpose. And the muscle is the body, and the body is the muscle. And for the muscle to have a meaning, it needs to move in coherence with the body, for the body. The body is for the muscle, and the muscle is for the body. And so for us, to do the Dharma, to do the will of God, to follow the way of righteousness, whatever you call it, is to do a coherent movement, to do something that actually makes sense, something that actually has meaning. The souls of human beings were not created perfect like the souls of angels. The souls of angels, they always do the will of God. There's no muscle spasms in the kingdom of heaven, yeah? That your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Everything is done in perfect accordance to the will of God. So why on earth and in heavens? Why in heavens and on earth to create human beings? If you have something that's working perfectly, like angels, why would you create something that obviously you looked around, human beings are not all angels? Why to do something like that? Why to give a choice whether to follow the Dharma, to follow the Tao, to follow the godly will or not? Well, the reason is that if a human being will learn to do the will of God, to do that coherent move of the muscle and not to be a muscle spasm, and will learn to do that all the time, having always the choice to go wrong and nevertheless going right and doing the will of God, he will become a different kind of angel, a kind of super angel. Yeah, in the Holy Quran, when Adam is created, God says to all the angels to bow down to him. Why would perfect angels bow down to perfect Adam, which in 5 minutes makes the mistake of a lifetime, the mistake of humanity? Yeah? Because it is the seed of a super angel. It is the seed of a certain divinity that can be created with this depth of being able to go wrong and not going wrong. Like riding a bicycle. In the beginning you fall and then you just ride the bicycle. You don't make mistakes anymore. And that's amazing. That. You just do the will of God. You do the Dharma no matter what. And this entire kind of creation of the world with all its evil, with all its difficulties, with all its temptations, it is to strengthen that. To create the right condition, the right environment for the seed of divinity in man to sprout and to blossom. Yeah? A plant needs sunlight, it needs water, it needs fertile soil so that the seed can sprout. For the seed of divinity in human beings, for a certain part of the sprouting, human beings need difficulties, hardships, temptations, evil. It is there so that this process of surrendering to the will of God, surrendering to Dharma, entering the flow of Tao will happen.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos on Tantra, spirituality and more.
This is what it's about. What's the meaning of life? This is the meaning of life. Plain and simple. The meaning of life is to shift from the selfish-based life into a perfectly integrated life. The will of God, the Tao, the Dharma. That's the meaning of life. Like that, and from that perspective, in anybody in any tradition, Krishna or Shankara, Christ or Buddha, that attain perfection on the way of righteousness, they say, yeah, this is the meaning of life. What's the point of this ugly seed? This beautiful tree. And how does the tree come to being? The tree comes to being when we surrender to that. In whatever form, in whatever tradition. So, how to get to it? So many people, they hear this idea and they say, well, this is amazing. Yeah. Some people, they say, well, this is bullshit, this is nothing. All I believe in is material stuff. But many people, big number, hear this idea and they're very inspired. But then there's like, okay, but it's not possible for me. It's not possible. I can't do it. Others can do it, but I can't do it. This is way beyond me with the will of God. These saintly beings, they were born saintly. For me, is impossible. But actually, you will see, we'll give a few steps here that we can at least make some progress in this life. Maybe a lot of progress in this life. And then that this inspiration that we feel to do what is there in all the scriptures and all traditions. And you can take the one that you love or a few and make a synthesis. That is actually possible, and will take a few steps that are very accessible. The first stage in doing the will of God and doing the Dharma is viveka, discernment. First of all, the journey starts with the understanding that doing the divine will, doing the Dharma, is better than following our selfish agenda. It's better than following our desires. It's better than following our ambitions. And then you read some of the scriptures, you listen to some lectures like that. Which ones? The ones that put your heart on fire. And you start to discern and to understand that, well, when I wanted chips and ate chips, nothing big came out of it. I wanted porn and I got porn, nothing big came out of it. I wanted that relationship, this relationship, I wanted that car, that success, that praise. Yeah, especially praise. You think, oh, if I get praise, you do 5 years something, you get praise, and that was like, oh, okay, that wasn't so great. Yeah, and that all the fulfillment of selfish agenda, selfish desires, selfish ambitions is empty in the end. And please try to realize it, not when you're 87. If you're 86, good, realize it now. But if you're younger, try to realize it already, when you have a lot of life force inside of you. Try to simulate, fast speed your life. Okay, what am I living for? These 5 desires and 3 ambitions. Okay, and if I fulfill them, then what? Exactly, then what? Then nothing much. Really, nothing much. Just read biographies, look around, interview people that have succeeded in doing what you're trying to do. Nothing much, honestly. And then read some biographies of people that lived according to the Dharma, according to the will of God. That's much. That has meaning. That's not a muscle spasm. This is something that is integrated in the earth, in the universe, in everything. It has meaning for everyone. And it has meaning for you. It puts you in that place where you will eventually sprout. You will not stay a seed forever. And the potential, this super angel that can come out of us, will actually manifest, that enlightened being, that saintly being, which is doable for all of us with a certain effort. Yeah? So we wrestle with the ideas until the heart is triggered, until the heart is burning. This is stage 1. Stage 2, most people get stuck here. Yeah, if they pass stage 1, they say, okay, I want it, I'm burning for it. But I can't do much about it. My desires are there all the time, my ambitions are there all the time. The wish to follow the will of God is so small. Even I want it, I really do, but I'm pressed by 100 million things, not to mention how scared I am. Scared for my health, scared for my job, scared to lose the relationship, scared to lose praise, scared to lose the appreciation of my parents, scared. I want to do the will of God, but I'm in a crisis. And then that's where it stands. And that wish, that aspiration, which is the potential energy, it is the gasoline to take us along the path, it doesn't go into the engine because we don't know what to do in that stage. So after we pass the discernment, and from discernment we want it with our heart, we see the emptiness of the world at least a little bit, and the fullness of the world from a selfish perspective. The world is full. But we see the emptiness of the world when we look at it as something to milk. And the great meaning of doing the will of God, but we are overwhelmed by life and by our weakness. So what we do in that stage is we start to want it. The important thing is in this stage not to get frustrated that you're not doing the will of God, because you're not, but to put your aspiration in action and learn to want more, to be or to want more, to want to do the will of God, to increase your wish to do it. So you evaluate, okay, roughly, you can do it alone, you can do it with a friend, roughly, how much do I want to do my desires and ambitions, and how much do I want to do the will of God? Okay, if I'm honest, 99% my ambitions and my desire and 1% the will of God. Good, that's where you start. 1% is a good beginning. And then you wrestle and you make it grow. Discernment, you read the scriptures, you listen to lectures, you wrestle with the ideas, you wrestle with the emptiness of the fulfillment of any selfish desire, agenda, ambition, and with the fullness of doing the will of God, and that will start to grow. You pray, whoever you are, to Buddha, to God, to Krishna, to Christ. You pray to want it. Just that I want to do your will, that I want to do the Dharma, that it becomes burning for me, like it's burning for me to eat the next meal, so that I burn to do that. We have the meditation with the godly will. You can do that. And then you increase any form of virtue, anything from humility to love to faith to peace of mind. Anything that is virtuous is aligned with the godly will. It will eventually put you in the Dharma, in the Tao. And you decrease all forms of vices, from pride to anger to hatred, all of that.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.